Hello, everyone. This is Kathy Joe. Welcome to um, the Facebook Live. Today we are doing a special little card. This is a fancy fold card, and as you can tell by who's talking right now, this is Kathy Joe. I'm going to do the tutorial today. I know usually Suzanne does the Facebook Lives on Thursday, but she's taking a little break this week. She's on the other side of the continent, and she will be doing all the wonderful comments and sharing the links to the product used. And I'm on the East Coast, and I'm over here, and I will show you this sweet little fancy fold card. So let's go ahead and start with the card. So the card uses 3 of Suzanne's beautiful stamps. So the first stamp that you will see is the twig wreath. It's a heart shape. That's on the front of the card. The second stamp is the friends are those rare people who ask how we are and then wait to hear the answer. That is a beautiful stamp. And that is on the inside of the card. And then the third stamp, which is you are sunlight to my heart. That one's actually in a cute little hidden spot. It's on the front of the card. You lift up the band, you lift up the banner, and you have this sweet little, stamp on the inside. Hi, Suzanne. So those are the 3 stamps used. This is a great little card to just send just sweet wishes to a friend that you're thinking of and that you want to send special thoughts to, and let them know that they're a great friend and that they are sunlight to your heart. So let's go ahead and get started. So I will usually at the beginning of a Facebook Live, I usually list all the supplies that you need, and I think this time around, I think I'll just list them as we're going along, and hopefully it's not too confusing, but yeah, so let's try it out and see how that works. So besides the 3 different stamp sets, I do suggest making this card if you use pattern paper, using a 6x6 pad of paper. And I'm using the Lavender Frost pattern paper from Prima. This is a great little pad of paper, and it's double-sided, and it has this, I like how they go all the way to the inside of the paper. Hi, Christine. I like how they go to the inside of the paper pad. So there's actually little scrap pieces of paper that you can pull out of that, and I'm going to use that today on the card because I like using every centimeter of their paper pads. Okay, so to start the card, the first thing is to make the base for the card. Now, for my base, what I did was I used a 5.5 by 5.5 piece of craft cardstock, and I made a tent fold base. Then I took a piece of pink cardstock and I matted it to the front of the card. This piece is 5.25 by 5.25. So I went ahead and mounted that. Now on the inside, we're also using another piece of 5.25 by 5.25. So I would suggest while you're cutting this to go ahead and cut that other piece and just set it aside, because that will be on the inside of your card. Okay, so next, we want to work on the stamps that are going on the front of the card. And I think the best way to do this is to figure out what dies you're going to use. Now, I used 2 dies. I used a circle stitch die and then also a scalloped edge circle. And my goal was to have it so that at first glance, it looks like that might be a little doily, or it's just barely peeking out from behind the pennant and the heart die cut on top. And so when I picked my dies, I wanted to make sure that they were close to each other in size, but the scalloped edges still peeked out from behind the circle. So I stamped the heart onto white cardstock, and I die cut it with the small circle die. And for this card, for the first card I made, what I did was I went on the outside of the edge of the die and I applied some water reactive ink, and I did that in pink. Now on the card I'm doing today, what I did was I die cut it, and I went ahead and I went around the edge of the die cut with my favorite go-to marker. It's a gold leafing pen by Krylon. And so I just went around the edge of that, and then I just set it aside and I let it dry. So after I got that done, next I stamped the You Are Sunlight to My Heart, and I did that on the white cardstock, and I die cut it with the scallop circle. Hi, Judy. And when I did it the first time around, after I die cut it, before I matted it on the paper, I went along the outside of the edge with some more of the water reactive ink. On the card I'm going to make today, I decided to just leave that a little plain, and I didn't put anything on the outside, which I think it looks great against that paper. So after I die cut it, next I cut a piece of 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 pattern paper. I went ahead and I mounted the You Are Sunlight to My Heart just directly in the center of the paper, and so I found it was easier to do it now than later on in the steps. So this way I know my true center, and then when I go to work on my card front with all the fancy folds, it was easier to do. And again, on the outside of this, I applied the gold marker. I just thought that was a nice touch, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So after I did this, I thought it would be fun to add a little banner here. Originally, I had this so that I didn't have the banner on there, and I thought even that looked cute just as such. But I felt like adding the banner really took this card to the next level. So after I made this card one night, I took just this top part off, and then I added the banner to it. I'm really glad I did, because it made it even more interactive and fun on the card front. So my banner, I took it from, I made it from craft cardstock. The banner, this one is 2 5/8 inches wide, and then from the tips here to the end is about 5 1/4 inches. And then after I made the triangle at the bottom of my banner, what I did was I took my scoreboard and I scored it here, and this is about 1/2 inch. And the reason why I made it that way is because I felt like it left enough space underneath the banner edges, but it still covered enough of that scalloped die cut, and it didn't overwhelm the card front. So then after that, we get to make our horizontal band here. And what I did was I took a piece of pink cardstock. This is 1 1/2 inches wide, and it's 6 inches long. And so I scored it at 1 inch. Now on the back of each of these, at my scores, I went ahead and I applied some tape. So now I want to make sure that my layout is good. This is what I was talking about by keeping all the little pieces here. So this piece is going to be covered up by the circle, but I didn't want to throw this little piece away. This is a scrap piece from when I was cutting this paper, and I thought it's so pretty, and it's nice to have that matted look on there. So instead of tossing this or setting aside and probably never using it. What I did was I went ahead and I made sure that the mounting hole was in the center, and it's just going to be covered up by the heart. So the recipient is none the wiser, unless you're watching this video right now. Okay, so I want to make sure that everything is centered here. And I'm putting everything in its right spot. So with the scalloped one, it's about right there. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it down. Take my tape off. Put that on there. And next I'm going to center that onto there. Make sure that looks good. And then flip it over. And mount it. So I have those. And so on the back of my circle, I went ahead and I put a piece of paper or a piece of tape along the center of that. Just going to, this is the tricky part for me. Make sure my heart's centered on there. Just gonna pull it off. So now that's done. It's looking great already. And I'm going to take some double-sided tape and go ahead and mount this to the card front. Isn't that pretty paper? Even the back is gorgeous. My apologies, I should have had this done first. Okay, go ahead and put it on. Okay, so make sure it's the top. Hi, Dorothy. Let's see. Just let me center that. Oh, isn't that pretty? Ooh, I look forward to seeing that project, Dorothy. She's using some of Suzanne's beautiful powders. Okay, so next, it'd be nice to hold this band down. And so all I did was I just took a little paper punch. Where'd my paper punch go? Here we go. I just took this little paper punch. I took a scrap piece of the paper and I just punched out a circle, and I only put tape on the half. And the reason why is you don't want to tape that down, so you gotta make sure you remember which half it is. And you just kind of, you make sure the tape part is going in the center there. I may not have put enough tape on that. Oh yeah. So that looks cute just like that. But then I just wanted to add a little bit of bling. So I've got a lot of buttons. My friend Christine, who's watching right now, she gave me a whole bunch of buttons. And so I went ahead and I put a little piece of twine on the button, and I just cut off the edges. And I'm just going to adhere, you know, I'll wait to adhere the button on until we do the inside actually. Okay, so then on the inside of the card, like I said, I kept all those little scraps. It adds a little bit of a fun detail to the inside. And that 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 pink cardstock that you set aside earlier, go ahead and stamp your friends are those rare people. Stamp that on there, and use your scrap pieces. These are 5 by, I think that one's 5 by 1 and 5 by 3/8. And go ahead and put that on there. And so, again, it leaves a nice detail and a little space for you to write something nice to your friends. And then last but not least, you go ahead and adhere the cute as a button, little button to it. So yeah, isn't that just a cute little card? I love the way it's fun, and it's a great way to use several of Suzanne's beautiful stamps. You know, the beautiful heart on the front, and then opening it up to that sweet little hidden message. You're a sunlight to my heart. It just really emphasizes the quote. So that is the Fancy Fold card. So does anyone have any questions? Oh, it looks like I'm starting to lose my wireless, so if I go in and out, I'm very sorry. I just had a warning pop up. But okay, well, thank you for stopping by. Oh, thank you, Christine. Thank you for stopping by. I really hope you enjoyed the card. And if you ever have any questions or any suggestions, oh, what ink did I use to stamp? Just 1 second. Excuse me. So the ink that I used on the outside, because it's a brown color, I wanted brown to match the paper. I used the Spectrum Noir Finesse alcohol-proof dye ink in Pebble. It's a really pretty color. It's like a nice little brown, and it kind of goes with the craft cardstock. Now on the inside, I didn't want the sentiment on the inside too light, so I went ahead with the black, and I used the StazOn in jet black. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, thank you all for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to sign up for the Suzanne Cannon fan group. It's a great little group where all of us fans of Suzanne get together and share projects, and it's a lot of fun. And don't forget to check out the blog, the Quietfire Creations blog, and then there's Quietfire Digital. So thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the project and have a happy crafty day. Bye.